بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we continue going over the tremendous book by the Fadilatul Shaykh Al-Allama Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan Hafidhahullah Ta'ala. That book which is entitled Kitab Aqeedatut Tawheed, the book of the Aqeedah of Tawheed. We have reached a tremendous chapter in which the Shaykh, he entitled it باب استلزام توحيد الربوبية لتوحيد الألوهية، أو عفوا بيان استلزام توحيد الربوبية لتوحيد الألوهية. The explanation that التوحيد الربوبية necessitates التوحيد الألوهية. Right? The explanation that التوحيد الربوبية, it necessitates the establishment of التوحيد الألوهية. The Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he begins this tremendous chapter and he says, وَمَعْنَ ذَلِكَ, and he goes on to explain. And what is meant by وَمَعْنَ ذَلِكَ, he's talking about the title of the chapter and the meaning of that, meaning the meaning of the title. What is he intending by the title of this particular chapter? The Shaykh, he says, أَنَّ مَنْ أَقَرَّ بِالتَّوْحِيدِ الرُّبُوبِيَّةِ لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى فَاعْتَرِفْ بأن الله فاعترف بأن الله أو فاعترف بأنه لا خالق ولا رازق ولا مدبر للكون إلا الله جل وعلا. لازمه أن يقر بأنه لا يستحق العبادة بجميع أنواعها إلا الله سبحانه. The Shaykh, he says, and what this means is that the one who he agrees with at-Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, he agrees with the Tawheed al-Rububiyyah for Allah Jalla wa Ala. So therefore, fa'atarifa, this individual, he accepts and he acknowledges that there is no creator and there is no sustainer and there is no arranger for this universe except for Allah Jalla wa Ala. Lazimahu, then it becomes binding upon him it becomes necessitated thus upon him that he must also in reality acknowledge and he must accept and agree to the fact that nothing has the right to any type of worship. Nothing has the right to the worship in all of its shapes and all of its forms. Nothing has the right to worship in all of its categories except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَهَذَا هُوَ التَّوْحِيدُ الْأُلُوهِيَّةِ. And the fact that all forms and categories of worship belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is at-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. The Shaykh he says, فَالْإِلَهِ. So the meaning of al-ilah, right? Because we say al-uluhiyyah. The meaning of al-ilah, ma'na al-ma'bud. The meaning of al-ilah, al-ilah. And the meaning of it is al-ma'bud. Al-ma'bud. Naam. Al-ma'bud, it means the one who is worshipped. The meaning of al-ilah, then it means al-ma'bud. Al-ma'bud, it means the one who is worshipped. The one who is worshipped. Naam. Because in general, an ilah, right, is that which is worshipped. An ilah is that which is worshipped, right? And it says nakira. This is not ma'rifah. I'm saying ilah, ilahun, right? Is that which is worshipped. This is indefinite. We're not saying definite. Here, the Shaykh he mentions the definite. Al-ilah. Al-ilah, definite. We're not talking about that. We're saying the indefinite one, right, is something that's worshipped. And the plural of that is aliha. Right? Aliha. Things that are worshipped. Which is translated commonly as gods. Right? So we know that there are things that are worshipped. So if something is worshipped, then you say about it, right, that it is an ilah. Right? And the aliha, these plural of ilah, we know that they are false. They are false, right? Whether they be an object, be a statue, be a rock, be a celestial body, and so on and so forth, from the things in which people worship and make shirk with, then this will be called ilah. This will be called ilah, something that is worshipped. Okay? But the Shaykh he says al-ilah, and with the definite article, the one who is worshipped. And it refers to who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because ilah, then what it means is that which is worshipped. This is why we understand that the meaning of la ilaha illallah, and inshallah we'll come to it in future classes in more detail, but the meaning of la ilaha illallah, it is la ma'buda bihaqqin illallah. That there is nothing that has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. Because Allah Ta'ala is the only thing that's worshipped in truth. وَغَيْرِ اللَّهِ إِنْ عُبِدَ فَعُبِدَ بِبَاطِلٍ. And other than Allah, if it is worshipped, then it is worshipped in falsehood. Then it is worshipped in falsehood. Naam. Because the only one who deserves to be worshipped is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Shaykh is saying, al-ilah, ma'na, al-ma'bud. Al-ilah, the meaning of it is the one who is worshipped. The one who is worshipped. فَلَا يُدْعَى. You see, and look, the Shaykh he brings examples, right? Because the deen of al-Islam, the da'wah Islamiyah, is a da'wah that is detailed. It's not a da'wah that is left general and ambiguous. Because if you came to people, right, in ambiguous terms, and you said monotheism, correct? People will generally agree with that. They will agree with that. Even the Jew, even the Christian will agree with that. If you said you have to be monotheistic, you have to be a monotheist, there's not a single Christian in this world except that they will agree with you. Yes, you have to be monotheist. Right? If you went to any Christian in this world and you said to them, the Creator is the one who is worshipped, they all will agree with you. All of them. They'll say, yeah, the Creator is the one who is worshipped. Okay, yes. They all will agree with you on that. Right? But is their application, does it coincide with the agreement or their general statement that the Creator is worshipped? Does the application coincide? No, because they worship other than the Creator. Right? They worship other than the Creator. Because when we say that the Creator is the one who is worshipped, we mean what? Alone. He's worshipped alone, nobody else. So the Shaykh, he clarifies, he closes all gaps for any type of misunderstanding. He said, Al-Ilah ma'na al-ma'bud. That Al-Ilah, it means the one who is worshipped. He says, فَلَا يُدْعَى إِلَّا اللَّهِ. So you don't make dua to anyone except Allah. Do not supplicate to anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You understand? Because that's real monotheism. You understand? And now we see the Christians and the Jews and everyone are excluded. Right? Because they give supplications to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Shaykh, he goes on and he brings more examples to bring clarity upon clarity. He says, وَلَا يُسْتَغَاثُ إِلَّا بِهِ. And we don't seek help. Help is not to be sought in times of peril except with Him. Except with Him, Allah Jalla wa Ala. Because this enters into what? At-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Now, that help in times of peril is to only be sought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of our ibadah is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Shaykh, he says, وَلَا يُتَوَكَّلُ إِلَّا عَلَيْهِ. And we don't put our trust in anyone except for Him, Allah Jalla wa Ala. Naam. And then the Shaykh, he says, وَلَا تُذْبَحُ الْقَرَابِينَ وَتُنْظَرُ. نعم. وتنظر النذور ولا تصرف جميع أنواع العبادة إلا له. He says, so nothing is sacrificed or slaughtered, nor any oath that is made by those who make oaths, nor any type of or any aspect of worship should it be directed to anything except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It all belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. It all belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Naam. So for the one who slaughters to the jinn, right, and he makes sacrifice to the jinn, or they make a sacrifice to someone from their tribe or peoples out of they slaughter an animal for them and so on and so forth in their honor, right? Then this will be what? This will be an infringement, and this will go against at-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. So you say this is not from monotheism, this is not from at-Tawheed, this is violation. This is in actuality from shirk. It is from polytheism. It is from polytheism. So we're talking about at-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. They were speaking about every aspect, every category of worship belonging to Allah and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, not belonging to anyone save Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Shaykh, he says, فَالتَّوْحِيدُ الرُّبُوبِيَّةِ دَلِيلٌ لِوُجُوبِ تَوْحِيدِ الْأُلُوهِيَّةِ. He says, so at Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, it is a proof for the obligation of at-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Naam. And this is a very important point that I want you to put a star next to and or highlight inside of your notes. That Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, it is a proof for at-Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. At-Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, it is a proof for at-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Right? And with that we understand better why the Shaykh, he made the name of the chapter as such. Because at-Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, it is a proof for what? Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Now, so again, what? What is that? What you have starting your notes? What is it? Again. Naam. Ahsantu. Naam. The Shaykh, he says, وَلِهَذَا كَثِيرًا ما يحتج الله سبحانه وتعالى على منكرين للتوحيد الألوهية بما أقروا به من توحيد الربوبية. He says, and from this and for this standpoint, many places Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He uses as a proof against those who are deniers of al-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. He uses as a proof against them that which they have already agreed to with respects to al-Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He uses that against them. Right? An example of this can be found in Surah Al-Baqarah. In Surah Al-Baqarah. And this is ayah 21 and 22. And the ulama, they explain that if you were to start from Surah Al-Fatiha, right? You start from Surah Al-Fatiha and you would start to read throughout the Qur'an, the very first commandment inside of the Qur'an, it comes here in this verse. It comes here in this verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind. Right? Mankind including what? The mankind from the humans, the mankind from the jinn, right? The believers from amongst them, the disbelievers from amongst them, all the mankind. Everybody. The one who's righteous, the one who's sinful, right? The one who's good, the one who's bad. Everybody, all of mankind. The command is for all of mankind. No one is excluded from this. There's no one from mankind, no category from mankind who is excluded from this. Allah Ta'ala, He says, Ya ayyuhan nasu u'budu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum. Allah Ta'ala, He says, O you, or O mankind, O human beings, worship your Lord who created you. Right? وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, and those who came before you. Right? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that perhaps you will attain piety, so that perhaps you will attain taqwa. Right? الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ فِرَاشًا, the one who has spread out the earth for you, making it like a bed. Right? وَالسَّمَاءَ بِنَاءً, and who has made the skies as a canopy. وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً, and who has sent down from the skies water. Right? What does that mean, sent down from the skies water? What does that mean? Huh? What does it mean? Rain. Naam, means rain. But فَأَخْرَجَ بِهِ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ رِزْقًا لَكُمْ, so He has brought therefore vegetation as a provisions for you. Allah sent down the water, and the water means rain, and from that He has brought forth vegetation as provisions for you. Then Allah Ta'ala, He says, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, so therefore do not set up rivals with Allah in worship, and you know. Let us go back over these ayat. Alright, let's go back. Allah Ta'ala, He says, Ya ayyuhan nas, Ya ayyuhan nas u'budu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum. O mankind, worship your Lord who created you. Worship your Lord. Worship your Lord who created you. Hence, I'm helping you out with the stress on the words. Right here, this aspect right here, this is what? What is it? Rububiyyah. Right? Okay. وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, and He created those who came before you. What's that? Rububiyyah. Okay. الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ فِرَاشًا, the one who made the earth spread out for you like the bed. What's that? That's what? Rububiyyah. طيب. وَالسَّمَاءَ بِنَاءً, and made the sky as a canopy. What's that? Rububiyyah. وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً, and he sent down from the heavens water. That's what? Rububiyyah. طيب. What does water mean in the ayah? Rain. Central. طيب. فَأَخْرَجَ بِهِ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ رِزْقًا لَكُمْ, and he has brought forth the vegetation by way of it as a provisions for you. What's that? Huh? Rububiyyah. Right? طيب. And Allah Ta'ala says, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا, and do not set up rivals with Allah in worship. What's that? Uluhiyyah. طيب. So from verse 21 all the way now to the end part of verse 22, Allah Ta'ala, He uses as a proof what? Huh? Uluhiyyah, right? Huh?
The proof for the uluhiyyah.
No, it's a trick question. No, Rububiyyah. طيب. So all the way from the beginning of 21 all the way on to the end of 22, Allah uses what? Rububiyyah as what? As a proof. He uses Rububiyyah as a proof for what? For Uluhiyyah. So Allah Ta'ala, He says, after establishing the proof against them, look, Allah created you, and He created those who came before you, and made the earth like and made the earth like a bed spread out, the sky as a canopy, so on and so forth. All of this is the Rububiyyah, right? Then Allah Ta'ala, He says, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا, so do not set up rivals. لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, so do not set up rivals with Allah in worship. وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, and you know. And you know. Shaykh Fawzan, Allah Ta'ala, he says what? And you know what? That these aforementioned things, from creating you, those who came before you, making the sky as a canopy, earth as a bed, sending down the water from the sky and bringing forth vegetation, so on and so forth. You know that Allah alone by Himself is the one who has done this. You know that. You know that. Right? So just as you know that Allah by Himself is deserving of Rububiyyah, then you know Allah by Himself is what? Deserving of Uluhiyyah. If you establish that Allah Ta'ala is the only creator, the sole provider, sole sustainer, so on and so forth, then you have to acknowledge. If you know that, then you should know that what? Only Allah deserves worship alone. And this is why the Shaykh, he says that in many times, in many places, Allah uses Tawheed of Rububiyyah as a proof against those who deny Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. He uses what they agree from Rububiyyah as a proof against them, why they should not be disagreeing, why they should not be denying al-Uluhiyyah. That makes sense? Yeah. The Shaykh, he says, فَأَمَرَهُ بِالتَّوْحِيدِ الْأُلُوهِيَّةِ, so Allah has commanded them with Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. وَهُوَ عِبَادَتُهُ, and it is to worship Him and Him alone. وَتَجَّ عَلَيْهِمْ, and Allah has used a proof against them, بالتوحيد الربوبية. He has used as a proof against them التوحيد الربوبية الذي هو يعني in those aspects of التوحيد الربوبية الذي هو, which is خلق الناس الأولين وآخرين, that Allah Ta'ala, He has created the people, the first of them and the last of them. Right? And the fact that Allah Ta'ala has created the people, the first of them and the last of them, what type of or what category of Tawheed does that enter into? Enters into which one? Rububiyyah. Allah Ta'ala, He created the people, the first of them and the last of them. Right? Because Allah, He is Al-Khaliq. طيب. And that Allah خلق السماء والأرض, and that Allah, He has created the heavens and the earth, وَمَا فِيهِمَا, and that which is in the both of them. Right? All of this enters into which type of category? Rububiyyah. Because Allah created the heavens and the earth and everything that's in them, because Allah is Al-Khaliq. He's the creator. طيب. وَتَسْخِيرُ الرِّيَاحِ. And Allah subjugated the winds. Right? Where is that in the ayah? What portion of the ayah do we understand the subjugation of the winds from? Huh?
Bringing down the rain.
One say bringing down the rain, one say the sky is a canopy. Which one is it? The Salaam says Yusuf. Who else agrees?
Rain.
Huh? Rain? Abdullah says rain. Anybody else? Canopy. Which one? Rain? Wait. The correct answer? is the rain. Is the rain. Right? Because as Allah Ta'ala explains to us in the Qur'an and other places, that He brings the winds, they come before what? Before the rain. Before the rain. The winds, they come and they bring the moisture to the clouds, and that process, and then it rains. Yeah. So after that, the Shaykh, he says, وَإِنزَالُ الْمَطَرِ, and bringing down the rain. Okay, so the fact that Allah Ta'ala has subjugated the winds to behave in this manner, right? And then the rain to come down. All of this falls into what category? Rububiyyah. Naam. وَإِنْبَاتُ النَّبَاتِ, and the bringing forth of vegetation. All of that enters into which category? Rububiyyah. وإخراج الثمرات التي هي رزق للعباد وهي رزق العباد, and the bringing forth of vegetations, of which is the provisions for the slaves. Bringing forth the vegetation, making the vegetation grow, right? Bringing forth the vegetation. This is from which category? Rububiyyah. Right? And is rizq for the slaves, because Allah huwa raziq. Allah is the provider. You understand? So all of these things are linked. So Allah Ta'ala is providing for the human beings, from the subjugation of the winds to act and behave in the manner in which they behave, right? Then the rain coming down, the vegetations, the seeds and all that stuff, getting that water, and then Allah Ta'ala making it grow, right? And then it brings forth its shoots and so on and so forth, and it sprouts and springs forth the vegetation as a provision for the human beings, because Allah huwa raziq, He's the only one, right? But one reflects upon it, he realizes only Allah does these things. Only Allah can do this, right? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, the Shaykh, he says فَلَا يَلِقُ بِهِمْ أَن يُشْرِكُوا مَعَهُ غَيْرًا. So with all of this, it is not befitting that they should associate partners with Him. Do you understand the magnitude of their ungratefulness? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done all of this for them. First and foremost, He created them, right? And the ulama, you have from the ulama who they say that every ni'mah follows the original ni'mah that Allah bestowed on us, and the fact that He created us. That's the original ni'mah, right? Would you say the first ni'mah that Allah given to us is that He created us, and then every other ni'mah that comes after that, from having us grow inside of the stomachs and the wombs of our mothers, stage from stage, and so on and so forth, and all the provision Allah Ta'ala has given to us when we was subhanallah, right, inside the stomach of our mothers, all of the provision Allah Ta'ala has given us, then being born, and all the faculties Allah Ta'ala has given us, and every blessing that Allah Ta'ala has bestowed upon us. All of these things follow that first bounty, that Allah Ta'ala, He created us. Allah Ta'ala, He created us. Now, so with all of that, all of what Allah Ta'ala has given to mankind, the Shaykh, he says, فَلَا يَلِيقُ, that it is not befitting that they would associate partners with Him. It's not befitting. It's not befitting. Right? And Shaykh, he says, ممن يعلمون أنه لم يفعل شيئا من ذلك. He said, especially for the one who realizes that they have nothing to do with that. These idols, these things in which they worshiping, they know they have nothing to do with any of the aforementioned things. They did not create them, they did not send down the rain, they did not bring forth vegetation, they did not spread out the earth, did not make the skies a canopy. They did nothing from none of that. They didn't do any of that. Right? They acknowledge this. But so these things don't deserve nothing from worship. They don't deserve anything. Because they themselves are created things. Only the Creator deserves to be worshipped. The Shaykh, he says, فالطريق الفطري لإثبات التوحيد الألوهية. So the way of the fitrah, the natural way for the establishment of التوحيد الألوهية, when one will understand that the establishment of التوحيد الألوهية, الاستدلال عليه بالتوحيد الربوبية, is that the proof and the evidences for it will be from التوحيد الربوبية. Will be from التوحيد الربوبية. When a person acknowledges that Allah is the only creator, the only sustainer, the only giver of life, only causer of death, the only arranger of the affairs, the only provider, so on and so forth, then he will realize that he's the only one who deserves to be worshipped. Nothing else deserves anything from worship. Nothing. Because all these other things are created, they are arranged, they are given life, death comes to them, they were brought into existence, right? They are provided for, so on and so forth. So they don't deserve anything from worship. The Shaykh says, فإن الإنسان يتعلق أولا بمصدر خلقه. So because the individual, firstly, he will be connected to the origin of his creation, ومنشأ نفعه وضره, and from the root of what benefits him and what will harm him. ثم ينتقل بعد ذلك إلا وسائل التي تقربه إليه. Then after that, he will move forward into the means by way of which he will be able to draw near and draw close to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَرْضِيهِ عَنْهُ, and from the ways in which Allah ta'ala will be pleased with him. نعم وتوثق الصلة بينه وبينه, and he should strive to strengthen the connection between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فالتوحيد الربوبية باب للتوحيد الألوهية. So therefore, التوحيد الربوبية, this is the doorway to التوحيد الألوهية. من أجل ذلك, and because of this fact, احتج الله على المشركين بهذه الطريقة, and because of that, Allah Ta'ala, He has brought proofs against the polytheists from this way. وأمر رسوله أن يحتج بهم أو يحتج بها عليهم, and Allah Ta'ala, He has commanded the Prophet, His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to utilize this as a proof against them. But biha, this, as is translated here in this context. What is that referring to? To utilize this as a proof against them. What's the this in the sentence? Rububiyyah. Sentence. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Naam. The Shaykh, he says, فَقَالَ تَعَالَى, so Allah Ta'ala, He says, قُلْ لِمَنِ الْأَرْضَ وَمَا فِيهَا إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah Ta'ala says, what means, and say to them, O Muhammad, say to them. Who's the them here? The mushrikun, the polytheists. And say to them, the polytheists, to who belongs the earth and that which is in it, if you know? If you know, then tell me. To who belongs that which is in the earth and that which is in it? Now, Allah Ta'ala, He says, سَيَقُولُونَ لِلَّهِ, they will say is for Allah, it belongs to Allah. They will say it belongs to Allah. So Allah Ta'ala, He says to the Prophet ﷺ, قُلْ. So therefore say to them, أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. So say to them, will you not then think? Will you not then think? If you acknowledge that the earth and that which is in it belongs to Allah, right? If you acknowledge that, then will you not then think? If the earth and all that's in it belongs to Allah, then no doubt, then the ibadah belongs to who? Allah. If you acknowledge the rububiyyah, will you not then think? Because what? Do you have to establish uluhiyyah? Right? But Allah Ta'ala goes on and He says, قُلْ مَنْ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ السَّبْعِ وَرَبُّ الْعَرْشِ الْعَظِيمِ. And say to them, O Muhammad, who is the Lord of the seven heavens and of the tremendous throne? Right? This question, who is the Lord of the seven heavens and the tremendous throne? This is pointing to what category of the Tawheed? Rububiyyah. This is pointing to rububiyyah, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, سَيَقُولُونَ Allah, سَيَقُولُونَ لِلَّهِ. Then they will say it belongs to Allah. Naam, سَيَقُولُونَ لِلَّهِ. They will say it belongs to Allah. Allah Ta'ala says, قُلْ. So therefore say to them, أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Will you not then fear Allah? Will you not then have taqwa? You acknowledge that the seven heavens, the Lord of the seven heavens and the Lord of the tremendous throne, it is Allah. They all belong to Allah. So therefore say to them, will you not then fear Him? Will you not then have taqwa? Will you not then have fear for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah Ta'ala goes on and says, قُلْ مَنْ بِيَدِهِ مَلَكُوتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Say to them, in whose hands belong the dominion of everything? In whose hands belongs everything? Right? هو يجير ولا يجار ولا يجار عليه. He says He is the one who He protects all, while whom against there is no protector. Allah protects everything, but against Allah there's no protector. There's no protector, right? Allah Ta'ala goes on and He says, in kuntum ta'lamun. And say to them, in whose hands it belongs the dominions of everything, and who protects all, but against whom there is no protector. If you know, if you know these things, then answer the question. Allah Ta'ala, He says, سَيَقُولُونَ لِلَّهِ. They will say it belongs to Allah. So Allah Ta'ala, He says, فَأَنَّا تُسْحَرُونَ. فَأَنَّا تُسْحَرُونَ. So then, if you have acknowledged this and you know this, so what then therefore had deceived you and thus made you turn away from the truth? If you acknowledge all of these things, then what has deceived you and make you turn away from the truth? If you have acknowledged these things, what are these things? If you have acknowledged what? Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Then what then makes you turn away from the truth? Meaning, what then makes you turn away from Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah? If you have acknowledged Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, then what makes you turn away from Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah? So therefore, Allah Ta'ala, as the Shaykh says, commanded the Prophet ﷺ to utilize Tawheed, which one? The Rububiyyah, as a proof to establish Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Now, Allah Ta'ala, He goes on, or Allah Ta'ala, He says elsewhere, in these particular ayat, before we go on, you can find them in Surah Al-Mu'minun, in his verse 84 to 89. So again, that's Surah Al-Mu'minun, in his verse 84 to 89. وقال الله تعالى, and Allah Ta'ala, He says, ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ. Allah Ta'ala, He says, and that is Allah, your Lord. That is Allah, your Lord. That's which one? Rububiyyah. Then Allah Ta'ala, He says, La ilaha illahu. Nothing has the right to be worshipped in the truth except for Him. That's what? Uluhiyyah. Right? So Allah started the ayah with what? Rububiyyah. To establish the proof for what? Uluhiyyah. The Rububiyyah was Allah Ta'ala's statement, ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ Rabbukum, that is Allah who is your Lord. Then the uluhiyya is what? La ilaha illahu, nothing has a right to worship in truth except for Him. Khaliqu kulli shay. Allah Ta'ala says He is the creator of everything. That's what? Rububiyyah. So therefore Allah has established what? Rububiyyah. Then Allah Ta'ala ends the ayat by saying fa'budu. So therefore worship Him. And that is what? Uluhiyah. So the ayat, you find in the ayat what? Rububiyyah, right? Then uluhiyah, then rububiyyah, then uluhiyah. Alright? So twice in the ayat, Allah Ta'ala He utilized rububiyyah as a proof to establish uluhiyah. So let's go over it again. Allah Ta'ala says, Dhalikumullah Rabbukum. That is Allah, your Lord. Uluhiyah. La ilaha illahu. Nothing has the right to worship in truth except for Him. That is uluhiyah. Now, Khaliqu kulli shay. He's the creator of everything. That is rububiyyah. Fa'budu. So therefore worship Him, and that is uluhiyah. Now, you see how clear the Qur'an is? You see how clear the Islamic da'wah is? You see how clear that is? But just looking at that ayah and the clarity that's there, right? How can anybody justify interfaith dialogue? How could they? Is that not the poster boy for confusion? Right? Is that not one of the most dangerous things for the Christians? Confusing them, thinking they okay? Oh yeah, you Abrahamic, we Abrahamic. Yeah, right, they ain't got nothing to do with Abraham. Abraham wasn't a polytheist. So why are you lying to them saying you Abrahamic too? Souping them up. That's what we used to say like when I was little. Right? That's not good. It is the most horrible thing. This is not the Islamic da'wah. The Islamic da'wah is crystal clear. Those polytheists, they knew exactly what the Prophet ﷺ was calling them to. They weren't confused about it whatsoever. They knew exactly what the Prophet ﷺ was calling them to. There was no confusion. No confusion. If you say La ilaha illallah, you cannot worship those idols. Period. They understood that with the most clearest of terms. If you accept and you establish a Tawheed, you cannot worship any of these things. Period. If you want to be a monotheist, you cannot worship any of these things. You must only worship Allah and Allah alone. Right? That was clear. But these ones, the da'wah of the interfaith is built upon quote-unquote similarities. Right? What good is a similarity? Let me tell you that. What good is a similarity? You understand? What good is a similarity? Like, sure. Shaitan breathe, right? Or Shaitan's alive. We alive. Any benefit in that? Huh? Any benefit in that? Instead of Shaitan, right? There's no benefit in that. Shaitan alive, we alive. Okay. No benefit. No benefit. We don't want to be like him or with him, period. Right? So what's the benefit if there is some similarities? You eat, we eat. Okay. You drink, we drink. Okay. You breathe, we breathe. Okay. And, right? What benefit is that? We both eat, like, okay. What's the benefit? No benefit. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You walk upon the earth. Okay, we walk upon the earth too. What does that mean? Nothing. Does that have any bearing on anything? No. So why would you go to them with such superficial things? Or you agree with this part of the truth? Okay. What does that mean? Nothing. Why? Because you're still upon dalala. You upon kufr. Upon kufr. Okay, you agree Allah is al-Raziq. Okay. You agree that Allah is al-Khaliq. Okay. So did the polytheists of Mecca. They also believe that. Those Quraysh, they also believe that Allah was a Khaliq al-Raziq. They also believe that. Did the Prophet ﷺ go to them and say, well, you know it's a good thing you agree with Rububiyyah? That is a good thing. Let us agree that we both agree upon that. Did the Prophet ﷺ ever say to them? Say that to them? No. but rather he called them to a Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, because the acceptance of Rububiyyah will not benefit you if you don't accept Uluhiyyah. So then what benefit is it going to a Christian telling him, oh it's okay, a Jew, oh it's okay, you agree with us that Allah is a Khaliq al-Raziq, Mudabbir. Okay. At the end of the day, you know what that means? Nothing. Why? Because if they die upon Christianity, die upon Judaism, they go into hell forever. So what we agreed upon benefited them how? They didn't benefit them at all. They didn't benefit them at all. And this is an illustration to show you how this da'wah is not Islamic, because it's confusing, it's deceiving, and it's of no benefit. It's hurting people. Whereas the da'wah that's Islamiyah, it helps people, it benefits them, it don't hurt them. It benefits them, it teaches them what's right. Then after that, the tawfiq is from Allah Ta'ala. Allah guides whom He pleases. He lets us go astray whom He pleases. But it's our job to convey the da'wah in the most clearest of terms, not to confuse people. Right? So the mere fact they agree, it doesn't mean anything. The Mubtadi', he comes, the Ash'ari, Sufi, he comes and MashaAllah, he agreed with an aspect of the Sunnah. That's okay now? Huh? No. Still a Sufi. Still a Mu'tazili, Ash'ari, Khariji. You know the original Khawarij? And this is a very important point the ulama they point out. The first generation of the Khawarij, right? Because I really want to highlight this point to you, that just because somebody agrees with us in the truth on certain issues don't mean nothing. Doesn't mean anything. You understand? If a person is not upon the truth, his agreeing with aspects of the truth means nothing. The ulama they point out, the original Khawarij, the Khawarij, those whom the Prophet ﷺ said, Kilabun Nar, they are the dogs of the hellfire. Those whom the Prophet ﷺ said, Yamrukuna min Islam, kama yamrukuna al-sahm min al-ramiyah, that they go out from Islam like the arrow goes through the target, or like the arrow goes through the prey. You understand? The arrow, high velocity, it hit it and it go through it. Right? That's how the Prophet described them. Kilabun Nar, dogs of the hellfire. Do you know how many issues they differed with Ahlul Sunnah in? Do you know how many issues they differed with us in?
One.
Do you know how many? One issue. So that means in all the other issues they did what? They agreed with us. In one issue, they disagreed with us. One issue, disagreed. Every other issue, they agreed. So what benefit would it to go to a Khariji and say, hey, but you agree with us in this, but you do agree in that. That's good, right? No, the person still calling them what? Kilabun Nar, dogs of the hellfire. And they only differ with us in one issue. In one issue. So now what is interfaith talking about? These things are very important, especially here, because we have a lot of individuals here who are proponents and call us to interfaith. A lot of individuals, especially here in South Florida in particular, who afflict people with this foolishness. So it's important that we're upon clarity to know that this is not a da'wah that's Islamic, but we have to call the people to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should utilize against them and establish as a proof against them, utilize a Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, to establish the proof against them for a Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. The Shaykh says, فَقَدْ اسْتَجَّ بِتَفَرُّدِهِ بِالرُّبُوبِيَّةِ عَلَى إِسْتِحْقَاقِهِ لِلْعِبَادِ. So therefore he utilized and used as a proof his being one in Rububiyyah, so as to point out and prove that he is the only one who is worthy and deserving of worship. But Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, so therefore at Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, هو الذي خلق الخلق من أجله. So Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, this is that which Allah created the creation for it. Allah Ta'ala created the creation, and the purpose for the creation of the creation was for the establishment of Tawheed. Which one? Al-Uluhiyyah. Now, وما هو الدليل? What's the proof? Who knows?
What was the question?
The ayah that says, I did not create jinn and mankind except for worship.
نعم أحسنت. نعم أحسنت. Is from Surah Al-Dhariyat, verse number 56. Right? Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. This is an ayah everyone memorize for homework. Everyone memorize this one. Surah Al-Dhariyat, verse 56. Those who memorize it, just review it. Alright? I want you to have it yani bisuhula on your tongues. When someone come and they say, what's the purpose of creation? What's the purpose of life? What's the meaning of life? Right? Right? And you tell them with ease. Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Did not create the jinn nor the mankind except to worship me. That's the purpose. That's the reason right there. Surah Al-Dhariyat, verse 56. That's Surah Al-Dhariyat, and it's verse 56. Now, so let's look at this ayah for a little bit. Shaykh Fawzan, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he comments on this ayah. In this ayah, Allah Ta'ala, he says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create the jinn nor the mankind except for them to worship me. Bam. Shaykh, he says, مَعْنَا يَعْبُدُونَ. What is the meaning of worship me? Right? What is the meaning of worship me? Because look, we gotta understand the meaning. We gotta understand the correct meaning of worship me. Right? Because if we were created to merely worship Allah, like a person came and they say, we were created to just worship Allah. Right? Or we were created to worship Allah. Is that statement true?
Only to do that?
Yeah. No, we were created to worship Allah. Is that statement true? Nah. It's not, because it's not complete. Right? Because if we said it and we left it like that, as what he said partially, but didn't know. Because if we left it like that, then that means anyone who worships Allah would have fulfilled the purpose of their creation, regardless of whether they worship other things or not. Right? So as long as they worship Allah, even if they worship something else too, then it's okay because they fulfilled the purpose. So to say we've been created to worship Allah and you stop like that, then we say no, that's not correct. Why? That's not clear. That doesn't bring forth the desired meaning. Right? But rather the meaning, and this is why the Shaykh he points it out, because it's understood, yani in the ayah it's understood. It's understood in the ayah. But we need some tafsir. So the Shaykh he explains it so he makes sure you don't miss that point. So the Shaykh he says, Ma'na ya'budun. The meaning of ya'budun, yufarriduni bil ibadah. Meaning you single me out alone with ibadah. Meaning worship me and me alone. So the correct statement will be, we have been created to worship Allah alone. Or we have been created to only worship Allah. Right? Something like this, whatever yani fits in that meaning, that we worship Allah and Allah alone, nothing else. So a person, if he worships Allah, but then he turn around and he worship Jesus, or he turn around and he worship Mary, or he turn around and worship a rock or a stone or a statue or a sheikh or something like that, then we say what? That person has not fulfilled the purpose for his creation. He has not fulfilled it. Why? Because he's worshiping others along with Allah Ta'ala, so he has not fulfilled it. He's making shirk. We were not created to make shirk. We were created to what? To establish Tawheed. So anyone who's not doing that, who's not establishing Tawheed, then he's not fulfilling the purpose of his creation. The Shaykh says, وَلَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدُ مُوَحِّدًا بِمُجَرِّدْ اِعْتِرَافُهُ بِالتَّوْحِيدِ الرُّبُوبِيَّةِ. And this is very important. The Shaykh he says that a slave, right, he is not a muwahid. He's not one who makes tawheed. He's not one who establishes tawheed just because he agrees with rububiyyah. Right? This is why I'm telling you, really it gets under my skin when I hear the Jews and Christians talking about we monotheists. No, you're not. You're not monotheists. You understand? People in the book, yes. Don't say you monotheist. You ain't monotheist. Why? Because you make shirk. So you're not a monotheist. So the Shaykh, he says, a slave, he will not be considered a monotheist just because he believes in Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Not enough. You're not a monotheist because you believe in Rububiyyah. No. The Shaykh, he says, حتى يقرر بالتوحيد الألوهية. He said no, he won't be a monotheist until he also agrees with Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Until he agrees with Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. But that's not the whole sentence. Just the mere acknowledgement of La ilaha illallah is not enough. A person acknowledges La ilaha illallah. That's enough? No, we Salafi. We're not Murji. You understand? We're Salafi. It's not enough a person acknowledge La ilaha illallah. So the Shaykh, he didn't stop there. He didn't say until he acknowledges Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. And the Shaykh, he says, وَيَقُومَ بِهِ, and he must establish it. Not just acknowledge it, but no, now you gotta live by it, you gotta establish it. Not just you acknowledge that Allah is to be worshipped, right? Not just alone. Not just that you acknowledge that only Allah deserves to be worshipped alone in truth, but then that you what? That you worship Allah alone. Has to be together. You have to know that, and then you have to what? You have to implement. You have to bring forth the actions. You understand? You got to bring forth the actions. So you have to also worship Allah and Allah alone. So the Shaykh, he says no, not until he acknowledges it and establishes it. So he has to acknowledge and establish. Okay. If he acknowledges it, but he don't establish it, does that benefit him? No. This is the way of the Murji'ah, where they remove actions from Iman. It's not the way of Ahlul Sunnah, not the way of the Salafy. The Salafy, la. Actions are part of Iman. Naam. Wait. What if he establishes it, but he don't acknowledge it? So he come in the ranks and he pray with us, fight jihad with us, make hajj with us, right? Pay zakat, fast with us in Ramadan, so on and so forth. But in his chest he don't acknowledge La ilaha illallah. He don't acknowledge it in his chest. That helps? That benefit him? No. But this person is who? Munafiq. He's a hypocrite. Because the hypocrites, they fought in jihad, right? Right? They prayed, right? Right? And the hypocrites, they used to what? They used to pray in the ranks, in the congregation inside the Masjid, right? Wait. They fasted in Ramadan, right? Yeah. They made hajj, right? Yeah. They did all these things. Did it benefit them? No. Why? They didn't believe in their heart. They didn't believe. So therefore it didn't benefit them. So that's why you got to have both of them together. You have to acknowledge it, and then you have to establish it. Acknowledge it and establish it. Because Iman, wa Ahlul Sunnah wa Jama'ah, it's not an acknowledgement. Right? It's not just a belief in the heart or a statement of the tongue. But what is Iman? Actions of the limbs. What else? Belief in the heart. What else? Statement of the tongue. And that Iman, what does it do? Increase and it decrease. That's Iman. Now, that's Iman. That's the haqq. The Shaykh, he says, وَإِلَّا, and this is very important to understand. He said, because if this was not the case, فَإِنَّ الْمُشْرِكِينَ كَانُوا مُقِرِّينَ بِالتَّوْحِيدِ الرُّبُوبِيَّةِ. He said, because if that wasn't the case, or because if not for this, then the polytheists, they used to agree with Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. The polytheists used to agree with Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. But hence their name, they're called what? The polytheist, not the monotheist. The polytheist. not monotheist. So belief in Tawheed al-Rububiyyah alone will not make you a monotheist. Okay? So the Shaykh, he says, because the polytheists, they used to believe in Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, وَلَمْ يُدْخِلُهُمْ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ, but it did not enter them into al-Islam. وَقَاتَلَهُمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ, and the Prophet ﷺ, he fought against them. Now, وَهُمْ يُقِرُّونَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهُ هُوَ الْخَالِقُ الرَّازِقُ Mudabbir, and they believe that Allah Mudabbir, they believe that Allah Ta'ala was the creator, the sustainer. They believe He was the arranger of the affairs. Al-Muhyi wa Mumit, He was the one who gave life, the one who caused death. They believe in all of that. But with that, the Prophet ﷺ, he did what? He fought against them. That didn't enter them into al-Islam. They were still polytheists. Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ, and if you were to ask them meaning who? The mushrikun. If you were to ask the polytheists, مَنْ خَلَقَهُمْ, who created them? لَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهِ, they will say, verily it was none but Allah. It was Allah. And this ayah can be found in Surah Az-Zumar, in this verse 87. And Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ, and if you were to ask them, مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهِ, أو لَيَقُولُونَ خَلَقَهُنَّ الْعَزِيزُ الْعَلِيمُ, they will say that they were created by Al-Aziz Al-Alim. They were created by the all-powerful, the all-knowing. And this ayah can be found in Surah Zukhruf, in its verse number 9. Allah Ta'ala says, قُلْ مَنْ يَرْزُقُكُمْ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ, say to them, and who gives you provisions from the skies and from the earth? أَمَّنْ يملك السمع والأبصار ومن يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي, and who is the one who owns the hearing and who owns the seeing, and the one who brings out the life from the dead and who brings out the dead from the living? وَمَنْ يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرِ, and who is the one who He arranges the affairs? فَسَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهِ, they will say it is Allah. And all of these things that I mentioned here in this ayah are what? Are their acknowledgement of Tawheed Rububiyyah. If you were to ask them these things, Allah Ta'ala informs that they will say it is Allah. And this ayah can be found in Surah Yunus and it's verse 31. But all of this did not enter them into what? Into al-Islam, but they were still mushrikun. They were still polytheists. The Shaykh, he says, وَهَذَا كَثِيرٌ فِي الْقُرْآنِ, and this is a lot inside of the Qur'an, the likes of these ayat. فَمَنْ زَعَمَ أَنَّ التَّوْحِيدِ هو إقرار بوجود الله أو إقرار بأن الله هو الخالق المتصرف في الكون واقتصر على هذا النوع لم يكن عارفا لحقيقة التوحيد الذي دعت إليه الرسل. He said, so whoever he believes that Tawheed is just the acknowledgement of the existence of Allah, and the belief or the agreement that Allah, He is the creator and He is the arranger of the affairs inside of the universe, and they were to come up short and they were to stop at this point and suffice themselves with just that, with this category only, then he will not be of those who have truly understood the reality of Tawheed that the messengers they call to. He will not be of those who understand the reality of the monotheism that the messengers call to. لأنه وقف عند الملزوم وترك اللازم أو وقف عند الدليل وترك المدلول عليه. He said, because he will be one who وقف عند الملزوم, he's one who he stops with that which necessitates, and he leaves that which is necessitated. Right? In other words, he stops at the proof and he leaves what it points to. That makes sense? He stops at the proof and he leaves off what it points to. He stops at that which is necessitates and he leaves off that which is necessitated. Right? Because that which is the proof is what? Rububiyyah. And that which it points to is Uluhiyyah. That which necessitates is Rububiyyah. And that which is necessitated is Uluhiyyah. Now, center. The Shaykh, he says, وَمِنْ خَصَائِصِ الْأُلُوهِيَّةِ, and from, is a very important point, the Shaykh, he says, and from those things that are particular to al-uluhiyyah, al-kimal, al-mutlaq, min jami' al-wujuh. It is a perfection, a complete, perfect perfection in all ways and aspects that are attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are from those things which are necessitated and specific and special to uluhiyyah, is that the one who deserves to be worshipped alone, he is perfect in every aspect. He is perfect in every aspect. The Shaykh, he says, الَّذِي لَا نَقْصْ فِيهِ بِوَجْهٍ مِّن وُجُوهٍ, the one who doesn't have any deficiency from any angle. There are absolutely no deficiencies whatsoever with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَذَلِكَ يُوَجِّبُ أَن يَكُونَ الْعِبَادَةِ كُلَّهُ لَهَا وَحْدًا أو لَهُ وَحْدًا, and that therefore necessitates that the worship belongs, all of it, to Him and Him alone. وَالتَّعْظِيمُ وَإِجْلَالُ, and we have to glorify Him and deem Him as being noble. وَالْخَشْيَةُ, and we have to have khashya, have to have a knowledge-based fear for Him. وَالدُّعَاءُ, and we have to supplicate to Him. وَالرَّجَاءُ, and we have to have hope in Him. وَالْإِنَابَةُ, and we have to be of those who are off repenting and off returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, increasement of righteous good deeds. وَالتَّوَكُّلُ, and those who put their trust and reliance upon Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْإِغَاثَةُ, and those who seek help in times of peril with only Him, جَلَّ وَعَلَى. وَغَايَةً الظِّلْ مَعَ غَايَةً الْحُبِّ, and we have to have the epitome of submissiveness, the epitome of humbleness for Allah Ta'ala, coupled with the epitome of love for Him, Allah Jalla wa'ala. Na'am, because Allah Ta'ala is perfect from every standpoint. There's no deficiencies. He has no deficiencies whatsoever. So all of this necessitates that we worship Him and Him alone with every category and aspect of worship. وَكُلُّ ذَلِكَ يَجِبُ عَقْلًا وَشَرْعًا وَفِطْرَةً, all of this necessitates by way of intellect, by way of legislation, and by way of our natural disposition, أَن يَكُونَ لِلَّهِ وَحْدًا, that all categories and aspects of worship belong to Allah and Allah alone. وَيَمْتَنِعْ عَقْلًا وَشَرْعًا وَفِطْرَةً أَن يَكُونَ لِغَيْرِهِ, and all of these things, they would therefore prevent and hinder intellectually, legislatively, and inclinationally that any aspect, any type of worship be given to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The sound intellect doesn't allow that. The text don't allow that. The upright natural inclination doesn't allow that. It all belongs to Allah and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Doesn't belong to anyone else. Na'am. This gives us some understanding of the reality of al-uluhiyyah. But the Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he is a most excellent teacher, most excellent educator. The Shaykh, he brings details so that is clarity upon clarity upon clarity upon clarity upon that which is clear. So after that, the Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he ends from that particular chapter on Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, and then he goes to the next chapter, which is on its and its sub-chapters are on, what do you think? Al-Uluhiyyah. Al-Uluhiyyah. He goes into the details about Al-Uluhiyyah. So inshallah ta'ala, natawaqqaf huna. We're going to stop here and pick up from this point inshallah ta'ala, to now to go over and to look at Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. After now we have a better understanding of what is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. فنكتفي بهذا القدر، وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وجزاكم الله خيرا.